The theme for the month is on the wings of love, and today we're looking at soaring in love. And it's a theme that lies at the heart of every spiritual tradition. It's at the heart of every sincere prayer. It's in every moment of true connection. It's the source of all life. And when we, as Ernest Holmes says, when we reach that realization that God is the immediate presence in us and as us, and that God is love and life and truth and beauty, then there's a huge transformation that happens. That is such a profound statement. I remember the visual I got when I really started to take that knowledge from my head and let it come down into my heart and really embody what it means that love is all there is. And everybody from Connecticut who was part of Connecticut Center knows the rest of that, because the rest we made up. Love is all there is. God is all there is. There's nothing outside of it. And the visual I have is of a fish in water. A fish doesn't know what water is. It can't really explain it to you, but it's all around it. And not only is it all around it, it's everything in it. Water is present in every part of that fish. And if that fish is not in water, what happens? It struggles. If I'm not in God, if I'm not recognizing that I am in this vast sea, this boundless sea that of God, of love, then I'm struggling. We struggle when we don't place ourselves in that. And this quote from Holmes saying that the source of all life is this, that what is so amazing is God is not distant. It's not removed from us. We can remove ourselves from it. We can throw ourselves out of the water. But God's always there. We can always jump back in, and it doesn't matter how long we were out. It doesn't matter what we did while we were out of the water. We can just jump right back in. And that we don't need to beseech or barter with God. We just need to be God, be love. And that we realize it's an immediate presence that's right there, and it's alive within our own being. God is in us. God is as us. It permeates every part of it. And if you can put your view on gallery, or if you can put it so you can see your own box, I want you to look at yourself right now and recognize that what you see is an expression, a unique and radiant, individualized expression of God. And if you're looking at somebody else, that's true of them too, whether they've got their camera on or not. Each of us are a unique expression. We are radiant. We are love itself. And when you look in the mirror, that's what you see. And those are the eyes that we should be looking at ourselves with. It's those eyes of God, the eyes of God that say, I am looking at myself. I am God looking at God. And so then when you can do that, you can take it, and when you can look at any person, anyone, you can see that also. And you can let go. We can let go of judgment, and we can let go of all of our learned behaviors. Now, is that really easy? Not all the time, because we have a lot of learned behavior. When you're as old as I am, you got a lot of things to unlearn. It's kind of like unwinding the yarn, in a big ball of yarn. But when we recognize that we are in this sea of God, and think about those children that Sandy read to us about. Ask any kid that's like under about 7 years old, and and ask them what love means. And it's always very, I I get the blessed opportunity to be with my young grandchildren a lot. and it's so wonderful to hear and see them talk about love, to talk about life from that different perspective. But when this transformation that we can go through, we can come to this realization that love is not something that comes and goes, that it doesn't depend on any circumstance. It doesn't depend on my feeling of worthiness, either our feeling of whether we're worth it or whether someone else is worth it, that it permeates all of that because it's always there. And when we recognize the divine presence within and awaken to God as love expressing through us and through whoever the other is, that's when we start to soar in love. That's when everything comes into a different alignment for us. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes, because the question that comes to me, and I'm maybe in your mind too, is, well, that's really great, Jackie. That sounds great. Makes my heart sing. But that's a concept. Now, how do I experience that? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Well, Ernest Holmes tells us that in a book called The Idea of Power, that our consciousness of the operation of this presence through us, when we are conscious of the law, that we realize that the law establishes our desired good as fact. So our desired good, when we are in alignment with this, when we are coming from love, that when we express our desired good, the law says that is fact, and it conspires, it moves everything around to allow that to come. And the only thing that keeps us from realizing the good that we desire is what's in our own head. And that's our teaching symbol. And that's how, the power of affirmative prayer, the power of working with a practitioner, the power of affirmations when they're coming from my heart, they're not just something coming from my head. When I recognize that these affirmations I'm saying are not me lying about myself, I am stating the truth that has not come into form yet. I like to call it faith it till you make it, not fake it till you make it. I'm going to faith it till I make it. But he goes on to say that it is our use of the law that has to be imbued with fundamental qualities of faith and confidence, trust and enthusiasm, and joyous expectation. When we come into that place where we have this faith that God is good, that there's nothing outside of God, when we add to it that trust that good is unfolding, and the enthusiasm and joyous expectation of it, then it's all there for us. We can change the world. We can change our life. We can change, and when we change our life, we change the world. So when we affirm this presence of love, we open ourselves up to this faith and trust and joy. And when we expect the good, what we do is we create this spiritual atmosphere around ourselves where love can flourish and expand, where our life can flourish and expand. And what happens is often we hesitate. Often there's that little niggling voice, and sometimes it's a very loud voice that shouts over top of everything else, that is based in fear and doubt. Or in my case, skepticism. Oh, that can't be true. It's everything I've learned says, if life is good, the other shoe's going to drop and it's all going to go away. So let's all go barefoot so there's no shoes to drop for us. And just be in love. And think about how much suffering we have had, however you want to define that, because of our doubts and fears. How much has not come into our life. And let's not focus on that for very long, but just think about it. Because when we start, start to realize that our doubt and our fear have kept us from doing the things that we want to do, when we open ourselves up, we can see how much different our life could be. And we can allow that life to come into our own being, our own experience. And this concept is not just Ernest Holmes, because remember what Ernest Holmes did was he studied many faiths, from many faiths and philosophies and science, and what he did was synthesize what was already there. I mean, these ideas go back beyond Socrates. People were recognizing this in the thousands BCE. So it's not new. It's called new thought, not because it's new, because it requires us to have new thoughts to make it happen. And even in the Bible, we're told to not be afraid. In the New Testament, it says it's our Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. And that doesn't mean a kingdom, if gilded gold all over the place or anything like that. It's God's good pleasure to give us what it is we truly desire, because there's nothing against us. God, this concept, this consciousness that we call God, is there for us to express joy, to express love, to express abundance and peace. And we are the only thing that keeps us from doing that. In Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes says that nothing can keep us from the love of God. And I love it because in the book, nothing is capitalized, which means pay attention. Nothing can keep us from the love of God. And what a comfort, what joy to know that all is well with the soul. And what untold sufferings have we had because of our doubts and fears. So remember that there is no circumstance, there's no failing, there's no shadow that we have, there's nothing we have done that is greater than the love that we are talking about, that is the heart, at the heart of everything. It's like an undercurrent that runs below the surface of everything. It's like the fuel that keeps this engine of life going. It's always there. It's just waiting for us to become aware of it, to step into it, and to allow ourselves to soar, to allow ourselves to be that greatest expression of the divine that we can possibly be. So if the soul, if all is well with the soul, what holds us back? What holds us back? Well, it's the conditioning of our mind. It's the stories that we tell ourselves or that we've been told. It's us having these self-imposed limitations that we're not good enough, we're not worthy. It's because of things that I did. Because of this, I can't have that. Or that we've just been taught that love is scarce. It's fleeting. It comes and it goes. Well, like I said, this goes back through the millennia, that we alone, humans have alone tried to rob ourselves of our birthright. Love is our birthright. Goodness is our birthright. It is our birthright to know love, to experience it as the foundation of our being, and to be able to share it freely. So to do this, we have to be willing to retrain our minds and to recondition our hearts. And that's the work that we have to do, is retraining our mind. In his book, Teachings of Love, Thich Nhat Hanh, which is a great book if you've not read it, he shares some wisdom that can become a beacon for us, a practice. And I'm not going to go into it in detail. If anybody's interested, we can talk about it. We can get the book. We could do a book study on it if you want. But what he gives us what he calls 4 doorways to love. in everyday life, or 4 mantras. And there's a much greater explanation of this. And this actually comes from the chapter in that book called True Love. And what he says is when we're with people, something to say is, and you can say it out loud, which can take some courage, or you can just say it to yourself to set your mind in the right place. And the first one is, my friend, I am here for you. And I can put this in the chat after if you want. That's the first one we can say. Or think, just, I am here for you. The second one is, I know you're there and I am happy. And you can just be present with someone with that thought. Even if you, again, if you don't say it out loud, just be present with someone. The next one is, my friend, I know you are suffering. If I notice any suffering with another. And the fourth one, which Thich Nhat Hanh says is the most important, is, my friend, I am suffering. Please help me. And it's like, whoa. But all 4 of these are teaching us to be present. It's acknowledging the presence of the other. It's recognizing any suffering in others, and also the courage and compassion to say that I'm suffering and need help. And what really surprised me, and I understand, Thich Nhat Hanh tells us in this book that if you only are going to pick one of these statements, one of these doorways, I thought it would be, I know you're there and I'm happy. But no, what he says is, if you only are going to pick one, pick, I am suffering. Please help me. Why? Because it takes a lot of courage to ask for help. It takes a lot of courage to reveal our own vulnerability. And what it does is it opens us up to love. It opens us up to allowing others to support us. It opens us up to receiving love. A lot of us are really good at giving love, but not always so great at receiving it. And it lets us know that love is available and we're not alone. We're not alone. So when we practice these mantras, we can move from an idea to actually living in love moment to moment. When you walk down the street, we can look at anyone and say, I'm here for you, or I know you're there and I'm happy, no matter who it is, no matter what they look like. And this is not about escaping challenges or avoiding pain or committing what I like to call metaphysical malpractice. It's now, the new term now is spiritual bypass. It's not ignoring that there are things going on in our experience, but it's helping us to rise above it. It's helping us to hold ourselves in love and recognize that love sustains us and that it will move us through it. So it's not to say that whatever is happening that's unpleasant to myself or others or whatever is not really there. It's to, how can I find God? How can I find love in this situation to help me through it? And that helps us to realize that our own doubts and fears are just like clouds that are, you have this bright sunny day, you're sitting there and you're warming yourself up and you're just having it's beautiful, nice breeze. And suddenly a big dark cloud comes over and covers the sun. And those are our doubts and fears. And then they move on. It helps us to move on through our doubts and fears. So soaring in love is all about being present and recognizing and respecting others no matter what. And not just respecting others, but respecting ourselves. So some things we can do to practice today. You can go today and either say to a friend or a family member or a colleague or to yourself, And you can say it out loud, or you can just say it in your mind. I am here for you. I'm here for you. And I know for me, when I do that, it shifts a whole lot in how I am perceiving that moment. Or you can take a breath and just become aware of the other's presence and just feel gratitude. And you can say, I know you're there and I am happy. If you notice, if you notice suffering, you can dare to acknowledge it and have the courage to say, I know you are suffering. Or even more courage and more daring is, I am suffering, please help. When we say that, it's not a weakness, because in our culture it's perceived as could be perceived as a weakness, but really what it is the strength of our soul. It's our soul it's our cells allowing our soul to be fed. It's a willingness to be loved, to be seen, to be supported. So when we begin to live from this place and we can see this, that nothing can keep us from the love of God. And when we take it, for me, I feel like it's the longest journey. Take it from knowledge, take it from something that I can say back to somebody, from my head down to my heart, where I really embody it, where I begin to live it, that I can reclaim what Ernest Holmes calls the glorious liberty, the freedom to love and be loved, to soar beyond our limitations, to let go of our limitations, to live in trust and joyous expectation. And so there's a closing affirmation several affirmations I would like us to say. And again, I can put these in the chat. And so whether you want to unmute yourself or not, I would like for you to say these after me. I am here for love.
I am here for love.
I am open to love.
I am open to love.
I'm willing to give and to receive love.
I'm willing to give and receive love.
Love is my birthright.
Love is my birthright.
Nothing can keep me from the love of God.
Nothing can keep me from the love of God.
Thank you. So let us all soar together, and being held up by this boundless love that is our true nature, the love that is right there, always there, that we live and breathe and have our being in, because love is the greatest healing power in the universe. And it is the only thing that binds people together in community of spirit. Love is all there is, and the rest we made up. Namaste. Thank you.